Hey guys, so this is part 2 of our special Reviewaganza. So now we're going to talk about something that we don't usually talk about, video games, specifically LA Noire at the moment. Justin, what are your thoughts about it?
I really like it. I'm not a super huge Rockstar fan. Like, I don't really care for the Grand Theft Auto games. I don't. I really liked Red Dead Redemption, although it felt a little too much like Grand Theft Auto in the sense that you get in a vehicle, you go to the mission, you do the mission, rinse and repeat. I mean, LA Noire does have that same sort of thing, but I think it reminds me a lot of Heavy Rain, which is a game I love in the sense that I would say it's the future of gaming, and the graphics, the technology. Maybe not so much the gameplay, but definitely the graphics. This is the new standard. There's no excuse for poor games at this point.
Especially, I gotta say, I like their facial capture.
Absolutely.
That they've gotten.
Facial is amazing.
Well, because it's like it's real. It's real. Like, and it plays into the gameplay too. Like they'll do certain things where like they'll be lying, kind of thing. Their faces will give them away. Now, one thing I gotta say about LA Noire that I didn't like, I felt that the free roam was added just because it's a Rockstar game.
I agree. I do agree to a point. It was so it's even to and the annoying thing was, okay, with like not so much with Red Dead Redemption, but with games like Grand Theft Auto, you are so not a bad guy, but you don't care about nothing. So it doesn't matter if you go and you
slaughter a group of individuals,
or you can't drive worth crap. Like in this game, it tags you for all the damage you've done, so you can't drive
like
poorly.
At the end of the case or whatever, it
yeah,
deducts you. You lose points.
You lose points because you've driven. But the controls in any Rockstar game for driving don't work well enough that you can steer.
And it's usually fine because it doesn't matter because you're not meant to. It's kind of the joke, right?
And like the thing is when it gives you the option to then make your partner drive, then it's pointless. There's no point having it. They didn't even have. They could have made this a linear. They drive to the cutscene to the crime scenes or whatever location as a cutscene. You just completely take out the driving. There's no need for it. There's no point.
It's basically, to me, it feels like Heavy Rain with driving, but the driving was just sort of added on.
It was just sort of. I mean, the gunplay was fun. It works just as well as it did in Red Dead.
The case work is pretty good. Overall, it's a substandard game in my opinion.
Oh no, I think it's an amazing game. It's just with elements that were only added because it's a Rockstar game, like you say.
So
are we gonna score?
Do we normally? We'll give it a letter grade, I guess.
I think we did that before. We gave it a letter. I give it a A-.
I'd give it a B.
B+?
Maybe. Maybe. It's okay. It's like it's not the greatest game I've ever played. It's not my favorite Rockstar game by any means.
Now, what? And then I did want to talk about another game. Like Jordan said, I did want to talk a little bit about Mortal Kombat. Now this, since I haven't played a Mortal Kombat game before, is mostly just going to be a mild discussion about the Mortal Kombat game. Then it is a review because I don't know enough about. We don't know about Mortal Kombat to compare it.
We'll compare it. Well, what we'll do, we won't compare this to other Mortal Kombat games. We'll review it as a separate fighting game on its own.
Okay. You want to go first?
Sure.
You can go first.
I'm actually in the middle of playing it right now. I have it on TV. But one of the things I gotta say I really like about this game, gameplay and stuff aside, I like the story mode.
Yeah, it's so long though. That's my thing.
But that's good. I like that.
To a point, but when you get an achievement for getting halfway through the game, that's.
But at least it's like the way I look at it, it's like you have the whole fighting game part. So like you go to a party, you do the fighting game. But in most fighting games, you don't play it alone. Unless
you play online or
you don't play it alone.
I mean, that's the thing in recent years.
It's got the story mode, and not just a story mode. It's a good story mode. It's like before this, I knew nothing about Mortal Kombat. This is bringing me up to speed. Like,
and the thing I like about it is that it has that single player experience, and that's the fighting games. Is supposed to be a multiplayer experience. I get that, but the thing that deters me from playing renting, pardon me, a fighting game is there's no single player experience.
And we generally play alone.
I play it for a bit, and then I get bored. I lose my interest, and then it's not worth buying unless I have a lot of people over, and
which we generally
don't. So for fighting game to have such a in-depth story mode is a really good thing.
It really attracts you to it.
Yeah. Also, I also like the way they fight in the game. It feels like they're fighting.
Like the damage shows up on their body.
Yeah, and just the way that they do the kung fu and stuff. It just feels like they're actually fighting.
Kung fu. Not all of it's kung fu, but that's besides the point. It's actually one of my. I think this has got to be one of my favorite.
Yeah, it feels games. Less button mashy than more recent fighting games.
And yet the combos are simple enough that you can figure out.
Someone once said it was stuff. It's simple enough that a beginner that can pick up, but complex enough that it's difficult to master.
Yeah, like I've come in and they've got like all their special attacks, and normally it's like it takes you like years to memorize the really cool special attacks, but in this game it's like I can't figure them all out, but I can figure out some of them right off the bat.
The only thing is like there's like you have to push down, up, and like it doesn't really fluidly. Like that was the thing that Marvel vs. Capcom. It fluidly brought in the special abilities nice into the combat, where it was nice and easy to pull them off. This is my opinion.
Overall, I'd say that this is a fairly good game, especially for a fighting game.
Yeah, it's certainly worth at least renting while you
if
can.
You can find it, right?
If you can find it, yeah. That's the criticism on the Rogers, which I'm not going to get into. But I did have some difficulty picking it up for rental. We don't buy games, we rent them.
Usually. Unless it's really good.
Yeah, so if we say it's worth buying. LA Noire and Mortal Kombat, almost worth buying.
I wouldn't buy LA Noire.
I
might consider renting, like if I once I have money, I might consider Mortal Kombat because I'm not going to finish the story mode in time.
Yeah.
I want to see how it turns out.
Yeah, almost. For me anyway, they're almost worth both buys. Which
LA
is
Noire,
something.
no, I wouldn't buy it. Mortal Kombat is almost worth buying. I'd consider it heavily.
Now coming up to E3. I'd like to get an E3 video in, talk about E3.
Before we get onto that, do you want to give
B plus out of 10.
B plus out of 10. I'm gonna give it I think a B plus.
B plus out of 10.
I almost want to give it an A, but I'm gonna go with a B plus because I haven't really gotten too far into it.
Now E3's coming up. It's coming up soon. I think it's June 6th. I think is when it starts.
Wow.
Pretty excited about that. So I'm hoping to get an E3 video in, get some open discussion. Now, Jordan, what are some things that you want to see out of E3?
You mean like games or
games, hardware, and what are some things added to that also that you don't want to see?
Well, I want to see first of all, it's the only game I can think of that's gonna be there. I want to see more about the Kingdom Hearts game.
Kingdom Hearts 3D, for sure.
That being said, I want 3D to go and die. Something that I definitely don't want to see come out of E3 is more Wii Motion Plus.
Well, then that's the thing. I'm the same. I don't want to see like the Donkey Kong, Kirby, Epic. I don't want to see that bull crap. I don't want to see more 3D, 2D games coming from Nintendo. I'm sorry, Nintendo. It's time to move on. Remember how I said LA Noire was the new standard? That's the standard that should be followed by video game industry today. None of this 2D crap. 2D is done. I'm sorry.
That I want to see come out? Just saying, virtual reality. I could get behind that.
And you know what's funny? Now we said this in another video. The big thing at this year's E3 is Nintendo's releasing a new console.
Oh yeah, the Wii 2 or whatever, right?
The Wii 2. Now the funny thing about that is apparently it's not motion control. It's not motion control.
Really?
That's the funny thing.
It's probably going to be 3D.
Nintendo is moving away from motion control.
Because they realize it's a dead area.
It's a dead market. You're getting nothing out of it other than cheap minigame collections. And it's
only going to sell for so long.
Nintendo sales dip. And Nintendo's all about the quick profit, right?
They realize they're not making money off of it.
And so it's really funny to see as Sony and Connect is trying to jump on the bandwagon about 3 years too late.
Nintendo's
jumping off. They're like, this, man, I'm out. So that's really going to be an interesting thing.
They're probably going to have 3D,
see.
I would say, in their...
I would say, considering they'll probably take the controllerless scheme and develop it better than Microsoft does. Because that's the thing about Nintendo. Sure, their technology is gimmicky as all hell,
but it works usually.
Well, it works for the first little bit, and it's pretty innovative for the first little bit.
Then it gets old real quick.
The other thing I'm looking forward to, I'm hoping they have it this year, E3, PSP 2.
Oh, you mean the N3 GT?
Yeah, and NGP.
That was it.
I want to see that.
No good programs.
I want to see, because it's full touchscreen. It's 3G network. It's gonna be pretty cool. It's gonna kick the crap out of the 3DS for all you Nintendo fans out there.
I'm hesitant, but
now the funny thing is, for the next Pokemon game, and me and Jesse were talking about this.
Another one?
No, they haven't announced yet, but we discussed that Pokemon needs to be an MMO. It needs to be an MMO.
That's the funny thing. It would work as well.
It absolutely works. It absolutely does. It needs to be an MMO.
Yeah.
Tried and true. Full 3D. And the next Pokemon game can't be 2D. Okay?
Or even their weird 3D, 2D.
3D, 2D that they've kind of taken and put in black and white. It needs to be full 3D.
Kind of like the Gale of Darkness or whatever, but good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the same. I mean, if they took the same scheme from all the other Pokemon games but made it like that,
yeah,
I would check that out on the basis
it needs to be full 3D. That would certainly make me pick it up. The black and white is different enough that almost makes me want to pick it up if I had a DS.
No, I'm not. No. It's different enough to pique my interest a little bit. I might check it out on like a friend's or something, but.
I think that's pretty much it.
Was there something else that you wanted to say?
There was, but I'm starting to lose my voice, and I'm getting tired of talking. And so, I did want to talk about Transformers, the Transformers series. There's some stuff about that movie that kind of...
another video, right?
That, yeah. Like I say, pay attention. I want to do an E3 video. I'm pretty excited about that.
We've only briefly touched on it.
Yeah, we've got a lot we want to talk about.
Especially once it comes out, we'll have lots to talk about.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm looking forward to that.
Hopefully, I want to get Hangover 2. I want to get Pirates 4.
Which I hear is really bad.
We hear Pirates 4 is really bad, so hey, man, we might prove otherwise. Until then, we'll see you next time.